share the screen. And have Instagram here. I think I'm live. Okay, so yeah. So back to everybody. Okay, Neek showed up because I just tuned in. And now I got it on YouTube. I got it on Neek at Night. I got it on Facebook page. So let me start. I gotta keep Bob in the picture. Let's start sending out some invites to people. Let's send the invites. Come on, people. Where you at? It ain't where you from, is where you at. It ain't where you from, is where you at. It ain't where you from, is where you at. It ain't where you from, is where you at. So I'm going to start sending invites. Growing up, growing apart. What is your experience? Do you have any stories about that you can share, that we can learn from on this topic when it comes to relationship, right? Right now, I'm sharing. I'm letting people know that we are live. We are starting. And get your butt up here. If you want to talk about it, if you want to share, get your butt up here. All right? I encourage everyone, if you want to share, I'm sharing. Doubler, how you doing? So, what's up, Tony? You want to come up here and talk about our topic? I ain't even put the topic up there. All right, the topic, let's pin the topic up there. I should have put it in the title earlier, but it's okay. Growing up and growing apart in relationships, right? That is the topic today, folks. I'm going to pin it right there. So we're going to put our first question out. Now, the people who are on Facebook and YouTube, I won't be able to respond to you because I have to look at this screen because I'm, doing it over here. But if you come over to Instagram, I'll be able to see your comments and respond to your comments on Instagram. So everybody else that's on Facebook and YouTube, I'll see your comments later on and respond to them later. You can comment, but I won't be able to interact with you at the same time. But you will be seeing the questions come across your screen if you're on Facebook and YouTube, okay? So the first question I have, let's see. This is a new thing that I'm using, y'all. I do everything myself, right? So the first question is, going across the screen. Is the greatest fear in relationship growing up, growing apart, or both? What is the greatest fear in relationship? So, I don't have anybody who joined yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little excerpt of Zoe's show yesterday. Let's see if anybody is in here. What's up, Jay? You still in here? Thanks for being in here. So I'm going to play a little excerpt of his show, which made me come up with this topic today, is the show that I listened to yesterday, right? I thought I had it saved and now it's gone. So basically what he was saying was everybody, even if they're in a relationship, everybody has their own space, needs their own space. Hey, Miss Sam. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, everybody have their own space. Everybody needs their own space in a relationship. And sometimes the greatest fear is when people take that space, because you're supposed to take that space to grow up, right? Hey, CKQ. Go ahead and request and see if it works this time. See if it works. You go ahead and request. So that first question that we have coming across the screen. Hey, Miss Sam. We going to talk to Clement about this first question we have. Is the greatest fear in relationship? He's coming up now. In the beginning, it's always good, so we're gonna get you in the beginning. Yeah. Thank you, Clement. I appreciate you coming up here.
Of course. How you doing?
Thank you so much. Our topic today.
The sparkle filter again, huh?
What? Normal, huh? I mean, I'm unique. That's my name. I mean,
play it out. Come on now, play it out.
How? What's wrong with the sparkle?
There you go. See, that's
cool. What is that? Okay, nope. All right, let's go back to. Okay, no, that's not it either. Right? No filter. Okay.
No filter. There we go. It's not lagging anymore. Like, you're actually moving fine now. Like, look at that. Isn't that crazy? Ain't that something?
What's wrong? Why can't I have a filter?
No filters. No filters, man. Like,
all right. I
love all natural. Okay. Fair.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's what you said. You the man.
What's going on? What are we talking about?
Okay. So first question. Coming across the screen over there on Facebook and YouTube. Is the greatest fear in relationships growing up, growing apart, or both? And why? Is it just growing up in the relationship? Is it growing apart in the relationship? Or it can be both? Oh man. Y'all know how Clement Internet be on Instagram. All right. So I'm gonna let him down so he can come back up. Just come back up, Clement. We are talking about. Hey, Mr. Oakland. Oakland Artist 84, what's up? Could answer the question of the greatest fear in relationship. He was about to answer. The greatest fear in relationships, is it growing up, growing apart, or is it both? Why or why not? What's up, Jay? That is the first question. Anybody want to come up and answer this question? I invited people to come up. We're not doing one-on-ones no more. This is anybody want to join the conversation. Come up and join the conversation. That's what this is. Something going on with internet sometimes and other people internet, but we are just talking. We're having conversations. No more highlighting one person on this thing right now, right? We are going to just be talking about relationship. And I'm just going to pick a topic and people can come up here and give their opinion. I'm trying to get CKQ back up here. When, yeah, here you go. I don't
8
know.
times charm, right?
Yes, 8 times the charm. Did you hear the question before you went out?
No, no. What was it?
Okay.
Am I lagging?
So, is the greatest fear in relationship growing up, A, growing apart, B, or both, C? Why or why not? Uh-oh. Again. So, we stuck again. I don't know what be going on with the internet, Mr. Clement. But that is the question. Now, I feel like growing up can be a fear when you're in a relationship, because what if the person you are with is not growing up with you, right? So that can be a fear. So sometimes people make their decisions out of fear. So if you come to the fear of, you know what? If I work on myself, if I grow myself, if I change in any way and grow up, what if my partner doesn't grow up with me? And then what do I do? Do I sit and be miserable with someone who I feel like can't even have a conversation anymore because you don't even like to talk about the same things? You've grown on a different level. Now, if this is a transactional relationship, like Zoe Williams says, then once you feel like you've grown, you might get rid of that person, right? But if you've grown, doesn't mean that the person that you would have to grow at the same pace, at the same time, on the same day, they may not get it. So even though that is a fear in relationships, like growing up in the relationship, it is a fear. It doesn't mean it has to be a negative. Like, hey, third time is John. We gonna see. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Huh? No, I can't hear you. Not at all. Yes. So sometimes growing up in a relationship can help your partner grow up, but it gotta be organic. Like, it can't be like, this is what I'm doing, so you gotta do it too. You know, that partner has to want to grow up and want to see that change and want to see those things. ATC 79 Graham, we are talking about growing up and growing apart in relationships. And the question was, is the greatest fear in relationships A, growing up, B, growing apart, or C, both? And we've been trying to get Clement up here from CKQ Clips, CKQ Podcast. to come up here and give us his opinion about the question. And I keep pressing you. Okay, there we go. Okay, say I pressed you twice to go live.
Yeah. So it should be good
Yay,
now,
I can hear
right?
you now.
Yo, this is stressful, man. That's why I hate Instagram. This is why I hate Instagram.
What is going on with Instagram and you? I think you need to like get rid of it and then re-download it again or something. I don't know.
Maybe I just keep it off my phone. I don't know. All right, make life easier for myself. Keep it. Stay away from social media. All right.
No, don't do that.
But I might have to.
The question.
But yes, I remember the question. So I think the hardest thing is growing up. It's not necessarily a fear, but I would say that most people, you don't plan to grow apart from someone, especially because, if you're growing up and you're starting to look at all the things that you have to do, because I want to say, no one ever plans on growing up. They just notice that they've taken on more responsibilities.
Mm.
And that's what growing up is. That's what adulting is,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
You don't ever realize when you're an adult. It's just one day you realize, like, wow, I'm doing a lot of adult crap. Like, I'm paying my car note. I got my own bills. Like, I rent. Like, or own a house, or wake up properly, pay your taxes, mow your lawn if that's what you do, and like you just do it without complaining.
I'm bougie, y'all. I got a straw with my wine. Go ahead.
But it's just one of those things you do, but now if you have a partner that didn't necessarily expect that, but now they're trying to slowly kind of undermine you from growing up, then I would say that becomes the scary part. That becomes the hard part. That's where that fear hops in.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes when people are growing up in a relationship, they feel like the person who they with is supposed to grow up at the same rate and the same pace and get the same things that they get. And it just don't happen that way. Everybody is different. Everybody grow up at the same, everybody see things differently. What I may say right now may not resonate with anybody right now, but maybe a year or two, they might come across it and be like, damn, that's what they were talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's what happens sometimes. So sometimes I think that it can be a fear. Growing up in a relationship can be a fear because you're like, man, I'm growing up, but this person is not. What am I going to do? Do I stay talking about the same things that I don't want to talk about anymore because I'm grown up now and I have more things to do, or do I wait it out for this person to get the things that I already get? I don't know. Some people may think like that. Mm-hmm.
So now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is it a sense of your growing up, or is it a sense of you taking on more responsibility, so you're looking down on them for not taking on as much responsibility as you are?
Could be. Could be. Yeah, and it shouldn't be that way, because then that would mean the relationship is transactional, because now that you're not really giving, like you're not reciprocating. So now I don't want you because you're not reciprocating. So that's a transaction. You not giving me my transaction anymore. So now I don't want you. So, yeah. Uh-oh. Can't hear you. Okay, there you go.
Like love is it's a transactional thing. You can't hear me? I think we have little lagging moments. Like I think
So
I think as a man, if you're metric of masculinity, then a
Mm-hmm.
woman is not really going to care for you anymore. Like she's slowly going to lose her patience for you.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa, if if a woman just starts to everything that attracts a man, which is predominantly her femininity, just being a kinder person, being a gentle, being there, supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Like if a woman just starts to drop and not care for all of that stuff, yeah, like of course a man's gonna step out and not care as much. So it's transactional. Like I think that's fair to say. Now I
So
will say this, that probably men tolerate more than women will tolerate that. I'll say that.
when it comes to what?
Dealing with the worst sides of the other person.
You think men can deal with the worst sides more than women can?
I think, yeah.
Okay. I don't agree with that.
No?
I absolutely do not agree with that. Because
So
I've seen women put up with some shit for upteen years with somebody else's craziness. And then as soon as the woman does one thing out of whatever they feel like is the most betrayal thing ever, they gone. They can't take that shit. Men can't take certain things.
but see, I would say that also the thing is that women are just bad communicators. Women suck at communicating. Like women actually never communicate what it is that they want.
Oh my God.
Women are bad at that.
How?
Women are so,
That's what we're
women
raised to communicate. Like
women are
our
probably some of
mom.
the worst possible. No. Hear me out. Women are the worst communicators. You know why? Because women talk around an issue. They'll only ever hint at an issue, and they'll only ever talk around an issue, and they want you to come up to the conclusion is they'll never actually directly approach an issue. Never. They'll only ever talk around it. And when they have to directly say something, then it'll be an issue for them. Like, oh, instead of saying, hey, our anniversary's going up, our anniversary's coming up, I think we should probably go to here.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what they want to do, they won't say that. They'll say, hey, I've noticed that there's like a Bahamas cruise, like, or Bahamas has been sending us some coupons lately. And it's like, okay, if he doesn't pick up on that, like, wow, I'd love to pack my bags and go on a trip sometime. Okay, he doesn't pick up on that. And you keep saying a whole bunch of other things. And
Oh
I'm right. Like
my
women will dance or something so crazy. Like women will never actually directly communicate what it is that they want. Around a topic. That's why women are the worst communicators. Men are far better communicators than women are. In fact, women are
Okay,
bad communicators and they
okay,
suck at listening. And they suck
okay.
at
Wait a
listening.
minute, wait a minute. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I can admit that I have two sets of I can get along with I have like 4 or 5 girls that are I roll with hard, right? And I get along with, right?
Okay.
And then I have a group of dudes that I get along with that I can talk to, right? And I agree that I am way more truthful with the dudes. I am way more truthful with the dudes than I am with the female, right? I admit that part. Hey, Ajane. Hey, Amani. Yes, I agree that part.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I'm truthful with my female friends, I am considered very harsh and aggressive and, disrespectful when I say the truth to my female friend.
These are the facts.
So I will agree with
Yeah.
you there, that part.
There we
But as
go.
far
There we
as
go.
communicating, that's what we're taught. That's all we do when we're young. Like,
Women don't communicate though. Like women communicate to make sure that everyone feels good. That's not communication. Women, again, just like how I gave that example of
hey, Mr.
talking to your
Selfie.
husband about going on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how you guys doing? Women, just like that, talk about going on a trip. You won't actually tell your husband you want to go on a trip to this exact place. You'll dance around it. Hey, there's a
Mm-hmm.
coupon to the Bahamas.
But not
What
all
do you
women
think
is
of
like
that?
that. I don't even think 90% of
Man,
women is like that. I don't even
man,
think 90% of women is
yo,
like that. You know why?
I would say a good majority of
Because if I
women.
want
I
to
would
go
say at
somewhere,
85.
if I want to go somewhere, I'm going to say where the hell I want to go. There is no, you know what? I think we should do this. Listen, I found this, and that. I think we should do this.
Mm-hmm,
Like, that's
mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah, and I think you are not you're the exception, not the rule. And I think the majority of women just don't know how to communicate what it is that they want. They'll dance around it. They won't directly approach it.
Miss Bear, that's Miss Sam. She had came on your show one time. We are very outspoken. Yes, we do, Young Blood King. What women you dealing with? So
Yo,
that
this
we
this is the
say
majority
what
of
we
women,
want.
right?
I think she's just saying we do say what we want.
Listen, majority of women do not. Majority of women, one, hear what they want, and two, don't say what they actually want. They hear what they want and don't say what they actually want. So there's a difference. Women hear what they want, okay? Because a man could tell you something, and you'll hear what you felt like he said.
Yes, I agree with that. I've done that.
Yep. Yep.
I've done that. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I am a woman. I mean, I do get the straightforwardness, but I am a woman, so I still.
In the end of the day, it's like, yo, sometimes. Listen, that's what made Kevin Samuel so polarizing and so hated by a lot of women. Because separating what it is that you're feeling that the person is saying versus what the person actually is saying, extracting the actual message from what you're feeling is hard for women to do because
Yes.
women run their logic through their emotions first.
Yes. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because in some areas of life, that is a good thing.
It's a good thing, yes. Um, Name me an area where it's good, actually,
Children.
besides children.
He said besides children. I said children. He said besides children.
Besides children.
Okay. I would say that a lot of times I was able to redirect and de-escalate things when it came to like people being upset. And a lot of times men didn't do those things. It was normally the woman to redirect things, like even at a job. Like I'll be at a job
Mm.
and a guy will be upset because he's tired and he's overworked, and somebody comes at him and like, listen, I need you to do this. And he starts to get upset. Most of the time I would be like, listen, I'll do that. He's doing this. Like I would always step in for stuff like that. So so a lot of times women can see a situation and kind of calm it down before it gets to that next level. So that's a good thing that women, they have for feeling things out.
Okay. I'll say the natural tonality of woman can calm a man down. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'll give you that. Women do have that. Um, but I would say in the era that we live in, um, women don't choose to use that.
Mm-hmm.
Women choose to use more like I'm gonna get to this man's level. I'm gonna fight fire with fire.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
What do you think?
I get it. And I think it's because I feel like the generation before me, the baby boomers and us, the Gen Xers, we were taught a certain way of how to find somebody or what to do or how to be and be successful. Like they told us to do certain things, and that's what we did. And what we realize as Gen Xers is that that's not necessarily true. Just because you go to school doesn't mean that you're gonna get a good job. Just because
Mm-hmm.
just because you go to school don't mean this ain't gonna happen or this ain't gonna happen. Like, they didn't prepare us for not being able to support ourselves and being in debt, right? So I feel like the next generation took on like carried on that stuff to where we was like, hey, if a man ain't got no money, don't deal with him. And it just went so far to the left. Because I remember it started in the 80s and then the 90s, and it just went so far to where it's like bitches is like the number one rapper is selling her pussy. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just
If he's not making six figures, then he's not worth it.
yeah.
You can't get
It
a guy
just
that's
went
working
like
9 to 5.
so. Oh my gosh! It started with the baby boomers saying that we can do this and we do that, and once we go to education, then we can get the same life as anybody else, and we'll be no shit still
You know,
happens.
but I'll say this. I wanna kind of chime in with something real quick, and I think because just like we were having the same conversation on my show with Talk, and he was saying to his daughter like, I want you to focus on education, 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 and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's been such a permeate like. I think that's been so hard ingrained into like women of this generation. That's like, yo, like you like push aside relationships, push aside dealing with men or anything like that. Like that comes last. Your education comes first. So in that same process, it's like, man, like I don't know how to
You caught me.
deal with this man. But
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'll put that later. I'll put that aside for later. Like I need to get my education. I need to get my education. And for so long, all you ever think is getting your education. So, well, I got the education, so now the man is just supposed to happen.
Yeah. Yes.
And it
No,
doesn't
it
really happen
doesn't.
that way.
It doesn't.
It doesn't happen because you've never learned how to actually be in uncomfortable situations with
Mm-hmm.
a man, because in relationships, like you're not always going to be happy. And if you've never learned to sit through that, a friend of mine was saying how um, her cousin, that was a girl, had a man while they were like 18 and 19,
Mm-hmm.
and they really wanted to get married, and the parents just tried their hardest to talk them out. So
Mm-hmm.
eventually they didn't do it, and now she became a stripper. She like went like just started. She went crazy. She went crazy. She went wild. Whereas he got married to someone else and he settled down and he's been with that person ever since. Has kids, has a house, the whole nine. She's now in jail. Um,
Mm.
and it's like I don't know why the parents worked so hard to try to make sure that they didn't build a life together, instead of working so that like, hey, if you guys have any kind of sip, come to us and we will help you get through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It's like they work so hard to tell them, you guys are young, you guys shouldn't be, shouldn't be together yet, you guys
Together.
should be exploring. Or exploring what?
Yes,
Exploring
and
what?
that is
what
the
what
same
what can
advice my
you?
mother gave me. And she's a baby boomer. I'm a
And that's
Gen Xer, and she gave me that advice. So,
yeah, explore. Like what do you get out here? Experience for what? Like if you want to get married, you want to have kids, you want to build what experience are you going to get that's going to help you out with that?
name is Claire.
Sleeping with more guys? How's that going to help you? You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah,
get
that's
education,
not gonna
cool.
help
The
you.
education is cool, but most of the time, women want to. They don't ever
Wait,
really want to use that education.
hold on
They
one
prefer to be at
second.
home with.
I'm gonna address
Yeah.
this pinned comment. Instinct, intuition is the wisdom, Youngblood King. Not all do it. So that was one of the things that we were saying, that not all do tick for tat. So that we were saying, like, well, when is it good, like, for women to have this feeling over what is actually being said? Like, when is it good for women to have this feeling and act on that more, and instead of what is logically in front of her, right? And that's what I think she's talking about. And then I think we have missed some of the stuff she said. Damn it. I need glasses, y'all. Focus on getting your mind right first before you can give yourself to anyone else. Yes. You should get your mind right before you are messing with anybody else. What happened to building up self each other? Well, yeah, okay. Examination, self-care, self-love,
Well, hold on. Let
self-reflection.
me say something to that. Let me say something to
Okay.
that real quick, because
Mm-hmm.
I think, all right, so both men and women have been given bad blueprints. All right, for men,
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to just sleep around as much as you can. That's your blueprint. All right. So your blueprint has been told your only sense of worth comes from you being able to sleep with as many women as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now it's even different, because it's kind of like, okay, screw women, just become a high value man. If in the middle of all of that, sleep with as many women as possible. And then once you hit your 35, 40, 45s, then that's when you get to pick a young chick, and that's your wife now.
Mm-hmm.
And if to that I say, if you've spent 15, 20 years of just sleeping around all the time, and now all of a sudden you're gonna say you're gonna flip a switch and just suddenly become monogamous to just
Mm-hmm.
one chick out of nowhere, I think that's a fallacy.
I
You know what I'm
mean, women
saying?
can do it. I feel like
Women
women
can't
can
do that.
do it,
Women
but
can't
men
do that.
can't.
It's BS. It's BS.
It's
Women can't
not
do that.
BS. Women can do that.
Women cannot do that.
They
Like,
can.
it's crazy. Both
Yes,
sides
they
can't do it, and
can.
that's what I'm saying. Both cannot do it. Like, a woman that just constantly goes
Now,
around
I
just
don't
sleeping around is
agree
really
that, like, she
destroying
should
people.
spend 15 years just, constantly sleeping around. No, I don't agree with that. But what I'm saying is, if when a woman is ready to, like, just be with one person and settle down, they can do it. They can just like, women don't think about sex all the time. Like, they don't. It's not like men.
So
Like, they can
he
not
slept
have
with a
sex.
he slept with 100 men. He's had 100 soul ties. All right.
Yeah.
She's done God knows how much with 100 men. Now she could just suddenly just flip a switch and say, I'm ready to be a wife now. I can just turn that off.
I've,
You don't think
I've
that's
seen
you don't
it.
think that's emotional baggage?
Yes, not saying that she's not gonna have emotional baggage. She will have a lot of emotional baggage. Yes, I agree with that part.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be done. Like, I've seen it done. Like, I've seen people that I know, people that I've heard of. I've seen them do it.
Balance of
So
probability. Let's just talk that real quick. At a scale of 1 to 100, scale of 1 to 100,
I feel like
women
women
can
can
do
do
that.
it easy. Women can cut sex off easy. Women don't need sex. Like, that's
Well,
easy to cut off. It's the emotional shit that's hard
no,
for women to cut off. The sex is
and
easy to
that's what
cut
I'm
off.
saying. If a woman sleeps with 100 men, you think she's going to suddenly somehow be okay to just suddenly say, "Hey, I'm just gonna settle down with this one person and live a happily ever after life"? That's insane.
It
That's
won't
not
be
it.
happily ever after, but she can not have sex with nobody else. Like, she can just commit herself to one person. She can do that. Women can do that. Women don't think of sex the same way
And I
men
think
do.
I'm not saying the sex part. I'm saying the fact that it's 100 people.
Yeah, she gonna be fucked
It's
up.
100 people.
Everybody fucked up.
Yes.
Ain't nobody right. Everybody got problems. Ain't
Listen,
nobody
listen.
perfect. Ain't nobody perfect, yo. You ain't gonna find a
You know,
perfect
but
person,
so
yo.
who can turn a man on that slept with 100+ women? A hole in the wall. A hole in the wall. That's all that takes. Like, um, um, that's why this it just doesn't work the same way when you
Okay,
flip it. Men
but I
men
think we got
were
off the
designed
topic,
differently.
though. We got off the topic. We are
But
way
this is
off the topic. Okay, we're going to
this
the
is a
second
hot
question.
topic.
To bring us back to the topic, we're going to the second question. Right.
Okay.
Second question is, how do you know, or in parentheses, name some signs it's too late to save the relationship? How do you know when it's too late, or name some signs when you feel like it's too late to save the relationship?
When communication is not really possible anymore between the two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meaning if you when it's only a one-sided communication, when it's only a one side doing everything, then it's pointless.
That's a big sign.
Then it's yeah, that's a huge sign. Like it's you willing to try to keep that person. Like you're not lesser than, at no point in time is anyone lesser than the other in a relationship. You got men and women aren't the same,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but just
Mm-hmm.
like in the Bible, you saw like
Mm-hmm.
biblical. Like you can't just say that he cheated on me, so now he should be doing every single little thing. Yeah, like he cheated on you, but let's just do a little rewind. Like, what did he need from you, and what was he trying to get from you before he eventually stepped out? You know, but if you get cheated on, chances are that person wanted something from you that you weren't giving them. And it doesn't always have
Mm-hmm.
to be sex. Sometimes it could be emotional.
Yeah.
Am I crazy
So,
here?
yeah, lack of attention. They don't pay attention to each other. They don't listen to each other. The lack of intimacy, like include the lack of both physical and emotional intimacy. It's like you feel like you don't know your partner anymore. You feel like they don't know you anymore. The lack of a connection. Like it seems like you're never on the same page. So it makes it difficult to make decisions as a couple, often and contributes to conflict. So those are some signs that, you are growing apart. Lack of trust. Anybody else has suggestions, but lack of trust. You can feel like you can't share your true feelings of how you really feel with that person. Because the person that you marry and that you end up with for life is the person you're supposed to be able to tell anything, like, and everything. Like, your body's buried. Like, that's the person you're supposed to be able to. And when you can't do that, it's like, okay, well, then you don't really.
What about if the person is suddenly? What if you see that?
Yeah, spark
I
is
don't think it's
not
gonna be a spark
nothing.
every.
What is
Like
that?
spark is a feeling. That's kind of like saying, oh, whenever if you don't feel in love anymore, love's a feeling. Like it comes and goes. There's some years where you might love them more than anything, and then another year where it's kind of like, wow, this person kind of gets on my nerves. But when you still have respect for who they are as a person,
Mm-hmm.
I think more than anything, you don't need love. You need respect to keep a relationship going.
You need respect. You need
I
trust
think you
too.
need trust, but I think respect is the top, and then they'll go with trust. Love is somewhere in the top 10. It's not really a top. It's not really a top five. I don't know. Maybe top three. Love, love is up there too.
Who
I'm
can
not gonna say it's
tell
not, but
me? That was what Mrs. Selfie said. Who can turn a man on that slept with 100+ women?
Oh yeah,
That,
that's why I said as
oh,
a
that's
whole
why
he
you
walked.
said that. Okay. Loyalty get
Yeah.
royalty, young blood. That's Miss Sam. That's
Mm.
normal, man. No, that's what's where it led, Sonny. What you talking about, Sonny? When you're weak, you beat. What the hell? He's skeptical, slept with 199 people. No cooperation.
Trust,
Yep.
respect, loyalty.
Yes.
Trust, respect, and loyalty. I agree with that. Love,
Yes.
love
Yes.
can come and go. Hassan, I'm sorry, bro.
Yes.
Love comes and goes.
Well, love.
Love
Like
comes and goes.
I think
Trust,
I
respect,
used to
loyalty.
only think love was a verb, right? But now
Well,
I know that love is more than a verb. I know that love spiritually is more powerful than a verb. Like love is something that can have like an energy about things. So love can just be something simple, not like you trying to change, form, or get anything from somebody. It's just pure love.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
sometimes it's not an action.
but it's a choice. I think love's a choice. You choose to be in love. Love is an action, and it's also a choice.
It's more than the action to me. It says narcissist attitude, not willing to unify, communicate. Yeah. Bullshit, the front door, choose to act or cheating is a
Yeah, see?
choice.
The
He
gorgeous
said when you
girl
see
in the
them.
comments said, love is a choice, something you have to choose every day. Okay? She said that right there. Boom. Whoever that
Mm-hmm.
is, it's a wife. That's a wife right there. Okay? Whoever that is.
Sonny said he's fucking them. He's fucking them women, but will love the right one. What? What you mean he'll love the right one? I'm not looking for a roommate. I want to live my. I want to love my woman 24/7, but that's not reality. You're not gonna be in love 24/7. That's my goddaughter Arjane. Love is a choice, something you have to choose every day. Yes. See how smart she is? See how smart she is? That's my beautiful goddaughter right there. She, and my other beautiful goddaughter was here too, Amani. She was here. I don't know if she's still here, but what's up, Amani? Uh-oh. We lost him. All right. You said you want to love my woman 24/7. That is a fairy tale, Sonny. You can't be in love 24/7. That's fairy tale. But you being as married as long as you have, you know that's a fairy tale. Um, Miss B said, "Love yourself to give and be loved, respect, honor. That's actions speak louder than yeah. Action do speak louder than words, but you know what speaks louder than that to me, and what I learned. Um, Zoe said, what speaks louder is intentions. Someone's intentions about the actions that they perform speaks louder to me. What was their intent? What was the outcome that they thought they was going to get of why they were doing it matters to me more than their actions. So that's why I feel like love sometimes is more than just an action. He said actions
Yeah.
of love is what I meant. Okay.
I know. Love's an action. Love's a choice. You choose to love someone you wake up and choose to love someone every day. I think in this day and age we're all waiting on a feeling of love, and I think that's the fallacy that like we've all been grown up and taught. Like if our grandparents like all wanted to feel love every single day, we probably wouldn't all be here. Like it is a fact. Like sometimes they were like, oh, like this person is a stable person. They're not the best looking, but like I can see them. They're like they're a decent person, and they grew to love that person for everything that they did. Like that person became attractive over time, and that's what, like
Mm-hmm.
that's I want to say like like men and women love very differently, but that's also like the good thing about how women can love. Like they can love a man in multiple ways. It doesn't just have to be him looking good or being 6 foot tall or having 6 figures, but it could be like how nurturing he is, how
Mm-hmm.
patient he is, like
Mm-hmm.
all that builds attraction when it comes to how women love a man. So like that's what love is. Like all those different things, all those actions compound onto like, wow, like this person is extremely attractive, and I think that love, wanting to, that spark or whatever, like that are, you can't go on things like that. Like that's a recipe for disaster.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. The thing
Like
about relationships when you're growing apart is that you hit it on the nail in the beginning,
I say,
is when you was talking about when it's only one-sided. So it's kind of like that's the main thing. Like
action of
if
love.
you feel like you are the only one that's trying, you are the only one that's like trying to connect and do things and you feel this person is just every step of the way that you're trying to have these things, they fighting you every step of the way. Like, nope, no, I don't feel like doing that, or nope, I don't want to be a part of that, or then it's kind of like, okay, you're fighting a losing battle. Like you gotta. So that is like the biggest sign to me when that person is like, it's not into anything. Like it's not like you expect your partner to be into everything that you like, but
Mm-hmm.
when they can't support you in anything, like everything is like, oh, you do you, I do me. Then it's
Yeah,
y'all just roommates then.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, basically just roommates then. Um, Lack of empathy from your partner also. You can feel like you had a hard time understanding each other's needs and emotions and wants and stuff like that. And that happens. That happens. How
What
do people
what
not
what if
not think that can't happen in a marriage? That happens.
I was I was thinking, what if I think a relationship is over once one party starts going through the other person's things.
Mm,
Because I think at that point in time the trust is dissolved. There is no
mm,
trust. But
yeah, yeah.
trust is hard. Trust is hard.
Trust is very, very hard to build. It's so easy to break,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so hard to build with certain, like I feel like, okay, because I like astrology, right? And I feel like there are certain
Okay.
signs that is very hard for us to let stuff go with certain things when it comes to loyalty, when it comes to um, telling the truth, the side of justice. There's certain signs that are like that. I'm one of them, you're one of them, the other one is Taurus, and then the other one is Leo. Like we're all fixed signs and stubborn in that way. And loyal and all that other stuff, right? But sometimes
Okay.
people are not perfect. And even though you may really feel like you are the person that tells the truth all the time and all that other stuff and you do everything right, you ain't perfect. You do shit wrong just like everybody fucking else. And like you said, if somebody did
Mm-hmm.
cheat, that's a two party thing. it could not be a two-party thing sometimes, I feel, because I feel like there are some women out here who do be giving their husband sex or their boyfriend
Yep.
sex, but they just love sex, so men just do it anyway, even if they woman is giving it. They just do it anyway with other, you know what I'm saying?
I think intimacy is not just sex always though.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
That's not, yeah, it's not just that.
and that's what I think a lot of times. And I think a lot of the times it's like women just think, oh, men just want sex. So like if I give him sex, he should be fine. He should just shut up. Like, nah, like I do have the ability to calm a man's mind down. But nowadays, I think women don't understand that like the effect or sway that they can have on a man's mind and heart. That a lot of times we want that from women, but women don't ever want to open up that side towards a man. Oh, we just had sex, so he should be fine. It's like, nah, like spend some time with the guy, you know, allow him to be a little vulnerable. And I'm not saying like have him cry on you or anything like that, but like be there for him, stroke his hair a little bit, you know, make him feel like you actually care about him. Yeah, shit, even if you don't care about him, I mean, I'd hope you care about him, but make him feel like you actually care about him. Because most guys will go through life knowing that no one gives a shit about us. We just got to do what we got to do. The world's got to run by a man, and you got to wake up and do your job. And no one cares if you're going to be sick or what you got to deal with. So it would be nice that for a woman to actually be there and be the one that actually cared. You know? But I think a lot of women just say, oh, I had sex with you or I cooked for you, and that's it. And vice versa, though. Vice versa. I would say both sides don't know how to do that for each other. Men don't really understand how to, like, we're always expected to be a rock. Our roles are very static as a man. Like, women know what they want from a guy, and it's got to be like, you know what I'm saying? But for guys, it's like, oh, well, he just wants sex. So, like, just give him some, he'll be fine.
Yes, Arjune. You see, she said a feminine woman can balance out a masculine man. Yes.
Exactly. He's got to be a masculine man, though.
That's
He's
true.
got to be a man.
But a lot of times, like I've seen like masculine women, like women who are normally aggressive, become feminine in the presence of a man. Like,
depending on that type.
Yeah, like I had a girlfriend one time who, everybody, know how aggressive she is or whoever it is or whatever, right? And but then she was with this certain person, and we went out and we was around that, her and that person, and we was just like, what in the world? She was all soft and she was all
smiling.
Yeah, like she was just like, who is this? Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that like what she just said, like if the person is being like that, then yeah, the women will just naturally fall into that feminine category. I mean, that's what's supposed to happen, Hey, Mindfully Misunderstood, come join us. Request to come up here, give your opinion. Aggressive, not manly. The last question, I'm putting up the last question, which is, tell a short story about the wildest breakup you ever had or ever heard of. That's the last question.
Damn, I live a pretty boring life. My life's pretty vanilla. My breakups have never been eventful. I think if anything, they've always been pretty cordial.
Hey, Carl.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Um,
Can you guys hear me okay?
hey,
Yes.
Okay.
how you doing?
Good, brother. How you feel?
Yes. How about
Oh,
yourself?
wonderful, wonderful. Hey, sister. Good evening. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank
Of
you for
course.
coming.
Yeah. I apologize. I guess we had the times mixed up because apparently you're in Eastern time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in Central, and I thought I had time, but so I'm just now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just now
I'm
joining the
sorry.
conversation. I had a wedding rehearsal tonight, so and I missed all of the conversation. So I'd like to be caught up to speed, if you will. My apologies.
we we are like almost on our way out. So we just put up the last question because I'm also broadcasting
what?
to Facebook and YouTube. So you can answer. You can be
Unique,
the first person to answer the last question.
Okay.
Unique. I do have to step away. I
Okay.
do have to step away for. Yeah. So
Thank
he's got the
you.
floor. Yeah, definitely. This was a great conversation. Sorry I couldn't be here for this,
Thank
but
you.
I have to. Um,
No, thanks for coming.
yeah, I'll definitely be back next Thursday. No problem at all. This was fun.
And Tuesday,
Take care.
YouTube CKQ podcast, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern.
Check them out,
Definitely
y'all.
specify, not Central.
Yeah,
All right.
Eastern. See you later. Thanks for joining us. So, yeah, we on our way out because I can't be on here that long.
Okay.
But the last question was, tell us a short story about the wildest breakup you ever had or heard of.
Oh,
That was the last question.
wow. And this is personal.
I mean, it could be something that you heard of if you don't want to do, your own.
I'll do personal because
Okay.
it's rather bizarre, I think. But so I'm recently divorced, and let me get me back in here. So I'm recently divorced, and things were going. I thought they were going rather fine. We had our little differences, but I thought they were going rather fine. And then boom, it like fell off the cliff. We were on vacation.
No warning signs?
There were no warning signs really. But I'll tell you, I'll bring you up to speed to let you know what actually happened. So, I thought things were going rather smooth, having, normal couples problems, especially me fulfilling a role of stepdad, sometimes filling in those situations can be a little trying, if you will, right? Because, as a step parent, the other parent the biological parent doesn't know if what you're doing is really, are you really having their child's best interest at heart? So I get it. That was challenge, but there was never really nothing ongoing. And a lot of times when you're going through a divorce, or when a relationship comes to divorce, there's a period of turmoil. There was really no period of turmoil. She essentially told me that she wanted a divorce, and I said, well, what about counseling? And we entertained counseling for about 3 days, maybe 4 tops. And then she came to me and said that she did not want to do counseling. Counseling was off the table. So I said, okay, I'll be out in a week. And I let her have the house. I took the investment property. And come to find out later on that her brother told me that she was testing me. And I didn't fight hard enough.
What?
Yeah, bizarre, isn't it? That's very bizarre. So she was testing me, and I didn't.
So you go all the way through a divorce when you really didn't want one because you tested somebody?
Yeah. So that was what was.
Oh, you got away scot-free. Like
Yeah.
you
Well,
got good. Like you don't even need to look back. Like that's
yeah,
craziness right there.
yeah. But you know what? I mean, the thing about it is like, with my understanding, and not to generalize, but women are very
Okay.
emotional, and women make emotional decisions. And I felt like it was a decision. Now in hindsight, I realized it was a decision based on what she was feeling at the time, which was an
Yep.
emotional decision, and she didn't really mean it. But I didn't know. I had no way of knowing. But the way I take things is, if you're an intelligent woman, you're an adult woman, you're not crazy. I'm thinking, okay, well, this is what you want. And so I'm not the type of guy to try to convince a woman to want me that doesn't want me, because now
Mm-hmm.
that sets the tone for other things, right? It's like I see guys who do that, who try to convince a woman, oh, I'm the guy for you, and it just doesn't work, because they all it screams desperation. It screams a guy that who is not operating in abundance. It's like a woman doesn't really want a man that needs her. Now
Mm-hmm.
I can explain that if you're not following, or if your followers are
No,
following.
go ahead.
A
Go ahead.
a man is more attractive the less he needs a woman. Everywhere around. If a man can cook for himself, clean for himself, pay his own bills, and if he has options as it pertains to other women, he's more attractive to a woman. But if he can't clean for himself, he mismanages money, he's not appealing to other women, he and he puts all of his existence, his happiness, he places it all on that woman. That's too much for that woman to bear. It places him in the unattractive category. So my position is that I'll never try to convince a woman to want me that doesn't want me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so this
Mm-hmm.
situation where that bizarre breakup was probably gross miscommunication, but
Mm-hmm.
it happened because of how we interpreted, each other's way of doing things.
So it kind of CKQ, before he left, he was talking about how women don't know how to say what they want.
Ooh.
That women are always indirect about what they want. He said that take a vacation, say their anniversary coming up, and she wants to go on a cruise or something like that. She'll just be like, hey, did you see those flyers in there talking about Bahama cruises? Instead of saying, I want to go on a cruise for my anniversary, she'll just mention it like 2 or 3 times and then get mad that he don't do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I don't know if that's everybody that I know. Like, I don't know everybody that does that.
Mhm.
And he was just like, well, most women do it. I said, well, I guess I'm not around most women, because most women that I know just say what the hell they want. But I do know that women, when I talk to my women friends and I'm more truthful with them, they do get way more upset than if I'm truthful with my set of male friends.
Mhm.
And like if I'm telling them some shit they don't want to hear, but I'm truthful about it, they are okay with that. They respect me more about it
Mhm.
than my female friends. So he is right about that, because most females will get mad at you when you tell them the truth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I do get that.
Uh,
But oh my goodness,
I,
this go ahead.
I read
I'm
this.
sorry.
I read this book called the Way of the Superior Man. And I don't
I
know.
bought that for my husband.
Yeah. The way of the.
I bought that book for him. He didn't even read it. But
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
I got it's right here somewhere. But the Way of the Superior Man, and it talks about how women put men in those positions because they want to witness their leadership, and we need to recognize what's going on in those situations. When a woman places a man, puts a man in a position to make a decision, he needs to make a decision, and because it displays leadership to the woman. Now, here's the caveat to that. He may not make the decision that the woman wants. So if she's dead set on doing X and he chooses Y, then that's the woman's folly. She erred in thinking that a man can read her mind. Now, I'm going to lead in the direction that I think we should go, but I'm not a mind reader. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't have a problem taking charge. But if you don't like where I'm going in situations like that, such as vacation or a restaurant we should go to, if you have your mindset on something else, speak your mind, love. That's all. Yeah. Speak your mind, and don't be indirect with me because I'm not a mind reader. And I actually heard Jacob Pinkett say this one time on one of her Red Table Talk episodes, and other women agreed. And she was saying, I love it when a man can read my mind. Yes, that may be great every now and then if I get it right. But now what happens if I don't get it right? Am I demonized? Am I less than a man? Am I not to be revered or trusted or whatever? Because I didn't make the decision that you wanted me to make. And that's why I think women need to give their man some grace. But we could talk about that, because I can go deep with that.
No, but that is really wild about that she was just testing you. That is a wild. Like, you went through a whole divorce without even saying, I'm testing you. I guess she felt like, well, since he didn't fight it, he really didn't want it.
Yeah, and that's how it came off. The whole thing was essentially it kind of started with me being labeled as emotionally unavailable, which I might be. I might be. But had we gone through counseling or anything, then perhaps we could have gotten to the bottom of why I act the way I act. Me actually, how shall I say, suppressing emotions, or in my mind, I'm thinking me being emotionally intelligent, is due to a lot of things that happened well before her and I met. You know what I'm saying? And I like to talk about this, even though a lot of guys won't admit it. But I have nothing to hide. I'm pretty much like an open book. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. I like to share it because someone can learn from it. Right?
Hey, Miss Polly.
Miss Polly. Hey. So I was bullied in elementary school. Well, from preschool preschool all the way through preschool. Yeah, from preschool. From preschool all the way through 5th grade, I was bullied, right? And that was one of the earliest lessons that I had to learn, that it doesn't matter how you feel about a certain situation or how you feel about people. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? It didn't matter if I ran from these guys, if I cried, if I begged and pleaded. It didn't matter. They were either taking my lunch money or punching me in the nose. It didn't matter how I did, right? So now that's an early lesson that I had to learn to get my emotions in check and learn to be solutions based, as opposed to just crying about something or emoting about it. Let me figure something out. And so, but since then, there were other things that happened in my life that caused me to essentially put my emotions on the back burner, because it doesn't, a large part of life doesn't matter how you feel about it. It just is. It is. And so, so, a lot of women perceive that as being emotionally unavailable. Yeah, I might be to a certain degree, because a lot of women are so emotional that if I jump on an emotional roller coaster with you, I might go with you for a couple dips, but I'm hopping off. I'm hopping off because I need to keep my wits about me. I don't mean to hog the conversation, but there's a lot of stories in the media, in current events right now, about men who acted emotionally. Have you heard the story about the guy who killed his kids and himself to get back at his baby mom?
Oh my God.
You ever heard?
I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized from that video because I didn't want to see that video. But I was watching the MX network, and they be having these little segments where they talk about different stuff that goes on throughout the Black community. And they were talking about that incident, but I didn't know they was going to show some of the video. That traumatized me so bad. Like I'm still just like, I can't get it out my mind because I seen on that phone, like he's yelling and screaming about, oh, you did this. And then he turns the camera and you see his son crying.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I just turned it off. Like I ain't even finished watching the whole segment or whatever was going on. I couldn't see that. Like, this is crazy. Like we are raising such emotional men,
Yeah.
such feminine men. I was just talking to somebody I've grown up with since ninth grade. I've known since ninth grade. And I was just talking. I was like, everything that Frances Cress Welsing talked about in the 80s and the 70s and all her research is going on right now.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah. But, you know, you can't, I don't even want to go there because that's not even the topic, what we're doing right now. But the wildest breakup is, you know, is our last question because I can't stay on here long. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, no.
So I would say the wildest breakup is me coming into my house with my new boyfriend, with my old boyfriend who's supposed to be not living there no more, inside the house with a friend. Maybe I would say that would be the wildest breakup I've ever been into. Or, you know, like, okay, I'm coming in there with somebody else. Like, you ain't even supposed to be here. Why are you even still here? Yeah. Everybody got to leave that situation. Nobody fought. Thank you, Lord. No cops was called. But that type of situation is tense when you know that this person is supposed to be moved on, but they in the house and you coming in with somebody else. So that's kind of like awkward to me. I've also heard about another one where this person I know, he had two females that he was dealing with, and he had one in his house, and one called him and was like, I'm outside, I'm getting ready to come knock on your door. And he had to go out and talk to her or whatever. And the person that was stayed up in his room or whatever, you know, whoever the family, you know, they was with the family, so they just talked to her, and she was none the wiser. So stuff like that, like I've heard of. It's just so many crazy things, you know, that you've seen on cheaters and all types of stuff while the breakups. But if anybody have one, you put it in the chat or whatever, of their wildest breakups. But I want to summarize this thing saying that we started out with asking the fear of relationships. Like, the greatest fear of relationships, is it growing up, growing apart, or both? That was the first question. The second question was, name the signs that you're growing apart in relationship. And I think we talked about those things. You want to answer those two questions real quick before we go?
Okay, so biggest fear, growing up and growing apart?
In relationship, is it one or the other or both? Or why or why not?
So you're saying
Do you
growing
think it's
up
anything?
or growing apart?
Mm-hmm. Or both. Which one could be the biggest fear? Or why isn't it a fear?
Well, I can only give you my perspective, obviously. I that's not a fear of mine at all. None of that is actually a fear of mine because, you know, we have to understand that relationships and love is a gamble. right? And you know, it's no different than going to the boat.
Thank you for the hearts, y'all.
You no different than going to the boat and a casino, and you got your best intentions, right? And you know what you're gonna do, but the house already know what they're gonna do as well. You might walk away, you may not, but at the end of the day, you knew that going in was a gamble. It's the same thing with love, in my opinion, and relationships. I think a lot of times we are afraid of certain things because well, let me say this. I think in order for a relationship to work from the start, you have to go into it with a certain level of naivety. You have to go into it with a certain level of, you know, uh, uh, um, hoping for the best and not expecting the worst. I know they say you're supposed to hope for the best, but expect the worst. Hope for the best. Because what happens is a lot of times we sabotage relationships from the jump, thinking that, oh, we're probably going to grow apart someday, or something's going to go awry someday. I don't fear the gamble. I don't, because I understand that that's just life. That's just how it is. And so, me personally, I don't panic until it's time to panic. So if hopefully we don't grow apart, but if we do, then we also have to recognize that that's just life. Sometimes people aren't on the same page. I'll give you another example really quickly, and I know you got to go. I was in a relationship before, and well, I'll say it. I was married. This was my second marriage that just happened, right? My first marriage, going in, when I first got married, I was a wannabe street guy, right? I was a wannabe street thug. Here's what happens. I was already making six figures, but I had one foot in the crap that I was still doing before I was making bread, right? And so as I was growing, I started getting deeper into the church. I worked my way up to deacon, right? I walked away from the street crap, you know, like I was selling everything that could be sold. Let me just say this, right? Bedroom smelling like weed because I had pounds in there. You know, that once when I gave my life over to the Lord and I became a deacon and I was praying all the time and I was couldn't nobody sleep in my house with a woman or a man that wasn't their spouse, stuff like that. Do you know this woman essentially lost attraction for me because she was in love with the street guy. You know what I'm saying? With the street guy. And so that's what kept her attention, is the fact that I had guns and drugs and you know, all these street guys around me. And it was like, but once I walked away from that, I wasn't attracted to her anymore. So now we have to understand, if you're growing, you're growing for you. You hope your mate goes with you, but it don't always happen, right? It don't always happen.
But that's a fear though of people. Sometimes people don't want to get into relationships, or sometimes people don't want to grow up because they feel like if I grow up and he or she don't grow with me, then we're not going to be together anymore. What if that happens? So sometimes it's a fear. Sometimes it's a fear. That's what I think. But
okay. So like I'll tell you this from Les Brown. I've been listening to Les Brown since I was a shorty. I'm 45 years old, just turned 45, right? My pops had me to Les Brown cassette tapes since I was, I don't know, 12. Les Brown says, fear is false evidence appearing real. The problem is...
Les Brown said that?
Les Brown. Yeah, now he got that from somebody else, but I heard him say it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Les Brown been saying it since the 80s, as far as I know.
False evidence appearing real,
right.
Yes.
So
yes.
Now what
I agree.
More times than not, 80% of the things we fear never happen. Never happen. But you know why? A lot of times things that we do fear happen is because we made it happen in our subconscious mind, and whatever you continually feed your subconscious mind becomes your objective reality. That becomes your world. You fed it to your brain so much that now it literally became your reality. We destroy our own lives a lot of times by thinking something is going to happen, and it never does. Now, so here's what happens, right? In a situation where you're fearing that you're going to outgrow a person or you're going to grow apart or whatever, right? You start protecting yourself. You start protecting yourself early on, and now what you're subconsciously doing, or in a roundabout way doing, is you're sabotaging the relationship already. You're helping dissolve the relationship, and it ain't nothing even happened yet. But now, what I am saying, it is real that people do grow apart. But if that happens, though, you have to understand that I hate to say it, but I'm not one of these type of people that think relationships are forever. It's not. No, I don't think relationships are forever. If you outgrow a person to the point where they are a detriment to your growth, then you part ways. You don't stay together. You don't stay together just because everybody else or the Bible or God said we stay. No, I don't believe in that, because some people will become a detriment to you. And then
But you don't think that our race, our culture has gone to the point where nobody want to stay together? It was nothing but single moms and single dads or whatever. I mean, we got to come to some point of, listen, we need to stay together and work this shit out. We can't just be like, hey, I don't like you no more, I'm moving on. Come on now. How did our great-grandparents stay together for 50 years if they just ran just because this person wasn't growing the same way they was growing? You can't expect that. You can't go into a relationship expecting this person to grow at the same rate as you.
I love that.
And if you really love that person, you wouldn't stop loving them just because they're not growing the same rate as you, if you really love them.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, that's my opinion.
Hey, Mandrell, what up, brother? All right, so hey, let's get Mandrell. No, you got to go. So I would love to have a discussion.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all.
Mandrell, hey, real quick, there's a
next Thursday.
Perusing these Instagram streets with your name. They tried to get some money out of me, but that's another story. So
what?
Yeah, they got Mandrell 2 underscores and 21. I played with him as long as I could, but he tried to get money out of me. But anyhow, I'm gonna send Mandrell a screenshot. But long story short, here's the thing. I'll give you a perfect example. My first marriage, right? She apparently liked. Can I say nigga? I don't know. No, you don't like it?
Say ninja.
Okay, all right.
Say ninja.
So all right, street Negroes, right? She liked street Negroes. She liked me when I was that. When I gave my life over to the Lord, right, and became a deacon in the church, I was no longer attractive to her. Here's what happens. He found her a street Negro to get with. I talked with so many street Negroes, it was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Now, should I stay with that person, although I love her?
No.
Exactly.
No.
You know what I did?
No.
I loved her so much that I got out of her way to allow her to do what she wants to do. Be who you want to be, love. Don't stay with me if I'm no longer attracted to you because I'm not a street Negro, right? You like guys who hang out on the block, who, you know what I'm saying, guns, drugs, the fast life. You like that. Go ahead. That's not me no more. And so the thing about it is, we're not, I love when people compare, and I'm not picking on you, love, because this is our first time really interacting. But right? So I love when people like to compare our lives to the lives of our grandparents or even our parents, right? This is not the same age. We are in comparison culture. When our grandparents and parents were growing up, more times than not, the only people they had to compare themselves to were the people in their community, right? They didn't have someone in California or someone across, right? All these other people, like, we got social media now. We are in comparison culture. So here's what happens in these situations, right? You get a woman that says, you know what? Kim Kardashian got a Range Rover. Why you ain't buying me no Range Rover, right? Right? But it's, and people always want to be like the next person. That's the problem we're coming up against today. Here's what I'm saying. You find you somebody that has like values, like you have, and you ride it as long as you can, with a naivety of, with a certain level of naivety, thinking that hopefully we could die out this thing together. But if it gets to the point where it's toxic, to me, I'm not sticking around just because society or God or my parents or whoever says that I think and they think I should stick around. No. And so it's not to say that people are bad for moving on. It's hard to find people who can lock in and grow together. That's what the problem is. You know? So I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, go ahead.
I don't think I mean, okay, I guess I could compare saying, you know, from them or whatever behind, I was saying that, yes. But I was trying to prove a point of everybody just so easily being able to move on. Like, to me, how can you really grow if you don't experience some type of turmoil, some type of growing up, some type of something with that person, right?
I got you.
Like, it can't just be bed of roses all the time.
No.
You know, the relationship is supposed to be your curriculum, your things that you're supposed to be looking in within yourself. That person is supposed to show you. And sometimes it's not going to be something that you like. It's going to be something that you feel like you don't need to look at. But that person is showing you that you do. Does that mean you just jump up and leave this person because they did one thing wrong? Because that's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, now I'm not talking about a repetitive person, but I have seen repetitive people reform too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So I mean, I've seen that too. So,
Yeah.
So it just depends on whether you really love this person for who they are and not what they can give you. Not what they can take from you, give to you, whatever. Like, you just love that person for who they are. Whether they give you what they want or not.
I'd like to offer you a little pushback on that, but first and foremost, I get to that. First and foremost, I want people to assume when I say walk away or what have you, that it's a quick process. Oh, you did this, I'm out. No. When my first wife and I separated, we literally, that was like a 5-year battle. We separated and tried to reconcile and came back, and that's when I realized, like, yeah, no. I tried everything. I was anointing her pillow because I was heavy into the church. I was anointing the pillow and everything, man. Nothing was working. So that's first and foremost. I don't want to create the narrative like, yo, one thing, walk away, I'm out, quick. No. Try everything.
Okay.
Try everything. I tried prayer, I tried counseling, I tried the blessed oil, everything, man. We even tried, whatever. We summoned the elders. Nothing was keeping this woman out the streets. And that's fine. I had to learn that it wasn't me. It was what she wanted. And I had to get to a point where I had to respect that's what she wants. You want a street guy.
Okay.
And so go ahead. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, I mean, that situation, I could understand that. What you talking about. Like, if you ain't doing that no more, you ain't doing that no more. And that's what she want. That's what she want. You can't change that. You can't change that. If you don't want to go back to that, that's not nothing. You can't change that. I understand that part. But yeah, okay, you tried everything. That's great. So that's different. That's different than what, than what I was talking about. That's what I'm saying. I just don't want people to just be like that. We give up so easily on relationships. So that's what I was talking about. And then some of the signs of your relationship is falling apart is not being able to trust that person anymore, not being able to have empathy for that person anymore, not being able to tell that person anything that your true feelings anymore sometimes, or that person annoys you. You're not even be able to understand what they're saying anymore. Yeah. Like, you just cannot understand it. Like, y'all, everything always ends in an argument. So that's some signs of growing apart. So that's what we talked about today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I should have specified Eastern, but next Thursday, come back. We'll have another good topic.
Okay.
And hopefully you and whoever else can join us and we'll talk about it. Have a good night, y'all. This is just one married lady's opinion from the podcast, 3 married ladies' opinions. My name is Neek is the Night, and y'all have a good night.
All right. Good night.
Peace.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye.